Hey everybody. So I got my extra warm gear on today because I chose to take the day off of work. My kids have a half day. My wife started a new job, and so I'm the one who has the luxury of vacation. I get to stay home. Good for me. I get to do some extra cleaning. That's all good and fun. So I also get to work on my own personal projects besides spending time with my cat. I actually finished the book Maps of Meaning. Turns out a good like fifth of it, not fifth. Hold on, holy crap! It's actually bigger than I thought it was. Is that about a fifth? Like that much of it? That's all site references and notes at the end of it. So that's about a fifth, maybe a sixth, something like that. I love books like that because I can look up and see what the heck are you talking about. Like he quotes some of his dreams in here too, which is really interesting. He actually finishes the book with a quote from the Apocrypha, from what I understand. But it's the fact that he points toward the religious underpinning as a necessity of life in order to combat tragedy. It's pretty interesting. So I finished that, and I also finished the Exodus series that they have on the Daily Wire. Now that's only halfway done. It's only up to episode 8, and when he finished it, he actually teared up because he was thanking everybody for it. They started talking about what he was trying to do, the whole process of going through the book of Exodus. And if you haven't seen his Genesis lectures, put them on. It's like 16 hours worth of information. I played it while I was working on the inside of my dojo, my personal one little barn out back. So I got to hear it all, and wow, holy crap! He puts the myth and the metaphor, and overlays the myth onto reality itself, and shows the exact necessity of it and how deep it could possibly be. One of the biggest examples is like, I think it's a Pieta, the statue of Mary holding Jesus on her inner arms, and Jesus is like lying there dead, and he's like, that's something you should live up to, so you're worthy of a statue like that. You're offering your child to the world to be sacrificed the correct way, and unless you do that, life will not continue. And that's like the heroic story for every woman ever that has a kid, right? You're offering your child to the world. You know they're gonna die, just like you are. But without them, life doesn't continue. Without life, there is no consciousness or choice. You know what I mean? So that's taking the myth, which actually is the underpinning of the psychological way we think, and attributing it to reality and what that looks like. It's neat, kind of connecting the dots. But that's a territory that I'm finding is it's like dangerous ground. It's because there's a danger in being wrong and then speaking heresy. So I try I research this stuff, and I look and I see how far down the rabbit hole goes per the red pill. So I didn't really come up with a whole focal point. I'm not going to read verbatim very much anymore out of Maps of Meaning. I just wanted to maybe go over what's going on in my local life, because this is a channel. It's kind of like a blog for, I guess, for whoever wants to watch, for advice, and for my children later, of course. So this Saturday, which is, well, first off, tonight we're having bacon cheddar burgers. I bought hamburgers, so I'm still on the carnivore diet. I've only cheated a little bit, and every time I cheat, my body lets me know. Like, I ate a cookie last night at like 8. I woke up this morning, feel like I was going to throw up, and I was dehydrated. Like, and that's because I ate one cookie, because I'm so used to eating just like meat and eggs and things that are extremely efficient in the body to process. And my body's like, well, that sure tasted good. Here's a couple hours worth of uncomfortableness to let you know exactly what you did to yourself. It was rough. So, but tomorrow morning, we're going to get up, and at 10 a.m. I'm going to be teaching a self-defense class to the community, the local community here. And the reason, per Nietzsche, right, and who you as a why can withstand almost anyhow, is my coworker told me a story about one of the children at her bus stop that almost was abducted by an adult, and this happened right before Christmas. So the child was walking to his bus stop, and an adult almost tried to grab him, and it scared him so much, like he told everybody, but luckily he ran from him and to the bus stop, which is the correct thing to do. You don't run away, you run toward the known, or you run towards safety. Running away can get you even, like, if you run into more chaos and more trouble. You run toward what you know. And that's a whole reason why you do martial arts, right? Because you want to go back to the muscle memory that you've been practicing to make sure you if you're in a fight. So you've been practicing this muscle memory, you retreat to the known. I know how to block that. My body knows anyway. Maybe I won't think about this until after the fact. But anyway, so he did that. No parents were at the bus stop. Bunch of kids, right? So that's a problem. And then when they called the police, they couldn't get a car to go out there that day at all. So there's a lot of blame you could put there to who was responsible for what. That's not the point. So what you should do, this is the difference between a Christian and a theist as far as I could tell. A theist will say, I will pray for that situation. A Christian said, I will pray for that situation and I'll do something about it. So I'm like, what can I do? Well, I've taught self-defense classes for my daughter's school several times. I'm like, why can't I do one for the community? Got in touch with this gentleman named Carl. He said I could use his church, so I'm using his church tomorrow. Talk to like a couple of the instructors I know. So I have different instructors from different schools coming to uphold bags. And we're going to go over what to do. Well, two things. There's the predator-prey relationship and the bully relationship. Those are the two main things that kids would deal with in fights. And if you want to read more about this, read a book called Facing Violence by Rory Miller. It really breaks down like every possible reason why people get into fights. And they're very simple self-defense in there, but the psychology behind fight and how to break the freeze and how to, discipline yourself accordingly, how to, even as a remedy for procrastination in there, which is really funny. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to go over like basic awareness. Most of these classes, the thing you don't teach kids is, hey, you know what you should do? Try to fight that adult. That's a great idea. Now, don't do that. That's the same thing I don't teach in lady self-defense classes. Like that is the worst possible thing you could do. That is like the last 10%. So that's the fun part, right? So we're going to go over awareness. First off, we're going to be dressed up in our gis so we look the part, dressed to impress. The thing about everybody wearing their uniforms is it's like binding us in the same direction. We're all part of the same thing. So what do? We are learning how to manipulate violent action. That is what we're doing. We're controlling violence. And if you are incapable of violence, you are absolutely at the mercy of everybody who can be capable of violence or cruelty. So maybe you should look into that. And that's, again, per Cain and Abel, it's mastering the darkness, right? And understanding it properly. So that's what we're going to try to do. And it's like holding yourself, how to present yourself, how to pay attention, how to be aware. What do you do? What's your most powerful weapon? Now that's a fun one. That's like a 20-minute exercise. I can't wait to rock kids through that. Maybe you can guess what your most powerful weapon is. As a child, what do you think it is? Comment below, because that'd be great. That'd be a great, topic of conversation, perhaps, if maybe we're thinking the same way or not. So then after that, we're going to go through a few bully scenarios, because mostly it's going to be predator-prey for children, because they're smaller. And the predator-prey relationship means they want something from you or they want you. And that gets very scary, because the monkey dance, which is like the bully version of it, there's certain rules to that, right? You're not really out to kill the person. You're out to make a point, maybe to demonstrate in front of other people. It's a status thing. It's useful in different hierarchies, but not in the terrible sense where the predator-prey relationship can go to. And then at the end, we'll hit things. I brought bags, because kids like hitting things. It's fun to get them jazzed, and we'll work out in between. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. And then after that, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to go to my friend's house and play Magic the Gathering Commander style. I don't know how much you guys know about Magic the Gathering, but I've been playing it since I was 13. I got my first pack gifted to me when I turned 13 by my brother-in-law now. He was my best friend back then in like 8th grade. That's right, 8th. Whatever year you are, plus 5, that's how old you were. But it was a lot of fun, and I was just blown away that someone would be that nice to give this stuff to me. And then we went over, he was interested in the cards that I got too, and it was revised back in the, if I would have kept these cards, man, it would be great. But one of our other friends in our crew actually has like every card ever made, and that's his retirement fund. And they are expensive, and he's competent. He still plays consistently, plays online. Like he's the best. Like the fruits of his labors are evident. And it's very neat playing like a competitive card game, especially one like Magic, where there's all these rules of logic that you have to follow, but you can change and manipulate the rules, and you're basically making a deck that's like a rule of logic that tells a story of progression, and you see if your story is better than your friend story that's head to head, and then in a combative scene, it gets even more intriguing because this is when we always play multiplayer. Then it becomes about politics, and it's not just about what the car can do; it's how you can express what the car can do. So I know what that's gonna do. I'm gonna kill that, or someone should get destroyed. It's like policy and hearsay. It's a really neat, like, tiny mythical kingdom you can build there. It's a whole lot of fun. And then next Saturday, we're going to be doing Treya. So Treya is a game that I made when I was, oh my gosh, 2001. I was 20. I've been updating it since. It's a role-playing game. I didn't have the money to buy the Dungeons and Dragons book, so I made my own. And I give experience not based on the monsters you kill, but like how you role-play your character. Like, did you play your race properly, your alignment properly? Did you contribute to the story? Did you interact, and then and then you have like a cycle, which is like your character, if you have extreme acts of luck, or if you use your intellect to solve problems. That's how you get experience, by actually role-playing. And surviving, obviously. Like, one of the ways you get experience is humans. Being a human, you get 1 experience point. And you get maybe like 6 or 7 per adventure. Not falling below half health. Like, that's like remaining healthy and living. Like, that's a big one too. And I let them negotiate with me too, because I'm usually the storyteller. And I think, nah, and if they plead their case correctly, because I like giving them points, but they have to, it's BS in reality. If you're a good character and you just like stepped on a ferry because you felt like it, well, it's tough to plead that case that you're still a good character. You know what I mean? Anyway, so those are the things that are going on in my life today. I need to clean the outside. My life in Final Fantasy VI, which I'm playing for my kids, has been rough. Just had my second death, and I'm not a fan of it. So I'm gonna walk my way up there. And my brother gave me a game. I gotta look at the name now. Chained Echoes. I'm going to start playing Chained Echoes on the other YouTube channel, because that game looks like a lot of fun. I guess I got some decent reviews on it. Sorry. That game looks like a lot of fun. My brother sent it to me, and he said there were good reviews there. That sounds a little better. So I guess that's it for me. On the weekends, I guess I'm going to have to do this before my kids wake up, so it might be a little quiet. Just be ready for that. And maybe I'll go over what I went in my devotions. Like, I'm currently writing my own, for my own sake, writing my own tiny commentary on the book of Deuteronomy. The outworkings of it, that kind of thing. And what we can learn from it, and how that's evident in reality. Like, why not, man? It actually says in the book of Deuteronomy, for your kings, they should write a copy of the law and study it all their days. That means they sit there and handwrite it. And I don't think anyone's ever done that before. Like, in the king tradition, because Moses was saying when you guys have a king, you should have him do this and actually study it. So I'm not sure if that was enforced or if it was ever actually done. And I'm like, why don't I do that? I can do it. And it took me like 3 months to hand copy Deuteronomy. And now every day, my first break, I'm just writing down like 15 minutes worth of thoughts, like about over 10 verses. And I'm not making it too like overly dramatic, or not researching the Hebrew language or anything. And that's on my to-do list as well. So I think the next book I'm going to be going after is going to be Love is the Ultimate Apologetic by Art Lindsay, because that's the next one we will be discussing at the C.S. Lewis Institute. So I guess that'll do it for today. Can you hear this purring? This cat, man. This cat. He's my buddy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And take care. See you later.